Hello, children. We're gonna make a teapot today. So, the teapot that I'm gonna make is gonna be shaped thusly. And I'm gonna make a long spout like that. And I'm gonna have a little, kind of a flat lid, with a little knob at the top. Pretty basic. So, quiet on the set. What I need to do to get this shape is I need to make a shape that looks like this. So I'm just guessing. I'm gonna make a little smiley face here. I'm gonna try and make a parallel, kind of two parallel curves. Like that. Actually, it probably needs to be longer. It's a good idea to make it bigger than you think, because you can always cut it down, but you can't really make it bigger if you need it to be bigger. So the parts that you need to make separately are the handle, the lid, the spout, and then the body and the bottom. So this is the body. What I'm gonna do while I'm waiting for that to stiffen up a little bit is I'm gonna work on making my handle. So I'm gonna start with a coil like this, but because it's a teapot, I want it to be fairly substantial. I don't want it to be too thin. And then I'm gonna slam this down a couple of times. I'm gonna take a damp sponge and run it along. Okay, once I think I'm happy with that, what I like to do when I'm making handles is do a little drag with your thumb, kind of down the middle. That gives your handle a little bit more texture, which will improve the grip. And then I'm gonna, I'm not quite sure yet the curve that I want, but I'm gonna set this aside at kind of a curve, and then I can, I'll be ready to attach that once I get the body set up. But you need to start with a shape that's kind of like this. So thicker at one end and thinner at the other end. And I usually kind of tap them flat, and I try to get it as even as I can. Okay, then I'm going to use one of the bamboo skewers. Find one that's pretty straight. And I know this is going to sound like a joke, but I'm fully serious when I say this, okay? When I don't do this, it doesn't work. So you're going to put your finger on the thick part at the bottom, and then you're going to take the stick and you're going to put it in the top, and you're going to kind of twist and drill the stick down through. And the goal is to hit your finger in the middle so that you're not off to one side or the other. And to help you do that, you need to use the force. So, I am with the force and the force is with me. I am with the force and the force is with me. I am with the force and the force is with me. I am with the force and the force is with me. I am with the force. The force was kind of with me. I'm almost in the middle, a little bit off. The force was not strong with me today. It'll get stronger the more I do this today. And then you're gonna roll this along the table, and what that's going to do is create a hollow. And if it's not quite big enough, you can always roll it more to make it thinner. It tends to kind of want to go flat like this. It's fine, you can always fix it like that. Now, if this end, if you feel like that got too thick, what you can do is put the stick back in and then kind of squeeze this back around the stick and make that opening a little bit smaller. Okay, this to start to look like a teapot. make this round, perfectly round, and you know, you'll need to score and slip this. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I rolled out another slab, and I'm gonna set it on top of this, and I'm gonna kind of outline it. And I'm gonna score and slip this on really well. And from the top, I'm gonna kind of pat that to make sure that I'm getting as solid a connection as I can at the bottom, and then I'm gonna go through and make sure that I weld that on and get that attached really well. Thought I was gonna do a handle like this, so if we look at the teapot, you know, it would attach somewhere along there, but as I'm looking at it, what I think would be better is if this was just a little bit thicker and I just cut out a slot there so that the handle would be like that. So I kind of changed my mind as I'm working on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just attach this clay on there like that so that I have, so it's a little bit thicker, and then I'll just cut out a space where you can grab it right there. I've got this attached. I decided to do a different kind of handle, which I'll explain in a little bit. Get in here close up. What I also did is I made sure that I put a coil on the inside seams, and I kind of reached my hand down and I did it all along the bottom to make sure that I had a really strong connection so that this isn't gonna crack or fall apart later in the firing, during the firing. So, and I had this spout, but it's too short, and I could attach it up here. I could cut this down and make it smaller and attach it up here, but I really think I like the idea of having a really tall, long spout that's attached at the bottom. With me. Oh crap, the force was not with me. Way off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and reset. Just gonna. It's a little bit better. Plenty long, but it's still really soft, so I kind of need to let it just set up for a little bit. Okay, so I let this set up a little bit. It's closer to like leather hard. And what I did is I cut this bottom at the 45-degree angle so that when I hold it against the teapot, it's going to stand up. I feel like that's too stiff, so I'm probably going to curve the spout just a little bit. Or I could also increase the angle of where I'm going to attach it. So more than like a 45, like a 60-degree angle would make it go up a little bit straighter. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line this up with my handle and figure out about where I want to place the spout, and then I'm going to draw a little line around. So there's two ways that I can do this. One, I could drill little holes like that, or I could cut out one big hole. I'm gonna score where I'm I'm going to attach that spout, score this side. One thing I'm going to do first though is I'm going to kind of pinch this out so it flares out a little bit. That'll give me a better area to attach the spout to. Get a little water. And then I'm going to press that on. I'm going to put my hand inside so that I can push from the inside out and make sure that I attach that really firmly and do the cleanup. And then I need to redo this spout. I'm going to have to cut the spout going that way. Okay, so that's what my handle is going to look like. And I'm probably going to have to open that up a little bit more because I want to be able to get my hand all the way in there to grip it. And my spout is set up. So the last thing that I need to do is get the lid. And it's basically leather hard now. And what I'm going to do is gently place it on top of this, and I'm going to tap it just a little bit. I can just barely see the outline of the top of my teapot there. So I'm going to cut it out. Man, I can barely see that. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to cut it out a little bit bigger because I can always shave it later. And I may decide that I even like that open. I'm kind of tapping around where I think the inside rim is, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to see the line left by the inside edge here. And what I need to do is score out, and then I'm going to kind of tap it flat so that I've got a really wide. So I need to make sure that I compress that on there really, really well. And I'm gonna kind of angle the coil inward a little bit. So can you get a close-up of this, camera woman? So it's kind of going in this way. Is I'll create some kind of knob for the top that I'll be able to lift that off, and then my teapot's pretty much done.